Hey, welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. Now, I really didn't think I was going to be making an update on this. I told you in my last video that I was done with it. But apparently, there are some issues going on with Peacock and the WWE Network. And really, at first, I didn't have any problems with it, right? Some of the things they were doing, some of the cuts they were making, I was okay with. It just was like, okay. But, you know, the use of blackface by Roddy Piper, and Vince McMahon using the N-word. Those are the only two things that I could see being reasonable to be cut from everything that I've seen from the WWE over the last 25 years. But no, they continued. They're cutting out pieces of really famed parts of WWE history, WWF history. For example, Goldust. He was an androgynous character who at times wore ladies' clothing in the ring. The man himself is not really his thing, but the man who played the character, Dustin Rhodes, is a legend in the industry, and partly because of the character he played of Goldust, but because he was androgynous and occasionally wore, there was a match where he came out in women's lingerie, which they were apparently cutting, or actually came out of a suit because he lost his match or whatever. I forget exactly the whole point behind that, how it happened. But they're cutting that out. They're cutting out a lot of stuff like that. A lot of stuff that made the Attitude Era actually the Attitude Era. The things that wrestling fans like myself are the reason we're watching AEW now is because of the grittiness, and the unruly nature of it. But by removing this stuff with Goldust and a bunch of other stuff that I haven't even found out all the stuff they're cutting yet. I was okay with them cutting a few things, but cutting an entire section, an entire character basically, out of the Attitude Era? Are you shitting me? And for the newer people, this is going to be fine. The people that have been watching wrestling for maybe the last 5 years, 10 years, ever since the PG era, they're not going to think anything of it. But it does cheapen it for the rest of us. Considering the other shows that you have on your network, Peacock. Spitting Image, for example, is one of the most grotesque shows I have ever watched in my life. It is disgusting. I mean, come on, it shows Donald Trump texting with his asshole. It's absolutely disgusting. And I get it. It's a British comedy. Okay, fine. But you don't see me out there saying, hey, get rid of it. I don't like it. I think it's disgusting. But other people probably enjoy it. So let them watch it. And that's how I feel about most of the product for the WWE. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. I mean, like I said, I gave you the first two, Peacock. It made sense. But I see shows like Yellowstone that are full of violence. And I see a bunch of other shows and movies that are full of violence and risque stuff. Yet, you're going to delete a rather predominant figure from one era of wrestling? Does that make a lot of sense? I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense that you have these other disgusting shows on there, then you have these other violent shows on there, and you're okay with those. You don't censor them, you don't cut them, you don't do anything to them. You just let them run. Unfortunately, there's nothing that's going to be done. Because one, this deal is locked in for a while, and apparently Peacock has the ability to edit every piece of footage from the WWE library. And apparently they're going to. They're going to basically sanitize the entire lot and do nothing better. Or do nothing else with it. Kind of makes me wish I had a way to, I guess, use a VPN to get myself a European or outside of the U.S. IP address, I suppose. Because this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, these aren't things that I am particularly watching at the moment, right? But the things that I have clicked on and watched occasionally. And I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense why they're cutting these things. I mean, what does it hurt that a guy comes out to the ring and ends up in some kind of lingerie? Big deal? Really? Who's going to be offended by that? Oh, I know. The rednecks. The people that... The religious fanatics, right? But it's weird seeing the guy who performed that character and knowing who he is and how he is. It's very sad to see them doing this to him. He's a good guy. If I remember, the oldest son of Dusty Rhodes, one of the greatest wrestling entertainers in the history of the industry. So, at least the pay-per-views will still be there. At least most of the content will still be there. But seeing Peacock deleting the stuff that they're deleting just absolutely makes no sense to me. Hopefully you're still enjoying the network. Hopefully you're at least enjoying the pay-per-views. I have the $4.99 version, and it seems to work pretty well. We don't have a lot of ads. But I cannot guarantee the end of my 4 months that I have scheduled or set up with that deal. I can't guarantee I keep it, but we will see. Anyways, y'all have a great day. I'll see you down the road.